Hey everyone, good morning. So I have a crazy update on this crazy market right now, and I really just wanted to share it with you. And so I'm just going to go through it real quick. There's a few different contributing factors to what's been changing down here in this market. And so the first one being the population growth. And so we have a lot of people coming from California, Washington, Idaho, Northern Utah, East, West Coast, everybody. I even heard somebody say that they wanted to move here just because they heard St. George was a desirable area. So they'd never even been here before, they'd never seen it, they didn't even know about it, and they want to move here. So it's definitely a big market. We've even increased up to, I think we're currently probably past it now, but at 189,000 people just from 155 earlier this year. So it's definitely growing, and it's something that you need to be aware of. Another contributing factor is our interest rates. And so as of right now, we do have some of the lowest in the country in the 3.3 or the 3 to 3.5% range. Apologies. And we also have low delinquency rates. And so that just means that there's a wider range of affordability for everyone. I have heard that these rates are going to be going up in the months to come. Just from lenders from different companies. And so that's one thing that I want you to be aware of, that these are going to be going up. So if you want this locked rate, now is definitely the time to get that done. Another contributing factor is our low unemployment rate. So compared to the rest of the country, Utah is actually in half. Washington County itself is a little bit more than that, but we do have a lot of job opportunity down here. And so that's why a lot of people are coming here. Not to mention that they can work remotely now. And it's just such a beautiful place that why not come down here and work from home surrounded by mountains. So that's a big thing that's been contributing to that. The last thing is our low state and local taxes. So the tax that I'm referring to is our property tax. Utah itself is technically a non-disclosure state. And so odds are your payment isn't even going to be what this percentage is. So what this percentage is actually just taking this amount and multiplying it by your purchase price, and that's what comes out to your property taxes. So because we're non-disclosure, odds are this is going to be lower than what it actually is, and you're going to be paying a lot less. So it's really awesome, and a lot of people love that. It's a big reason why people come down here too. So all those things put together has actually made Utah the #1 housing market in America right now, which is big. You know, we've heard that it's one of the fastest growing cities, which is true, but it's also the #1 place to live right now. And so there's a couple of different things that's contributing to that. So there's a supply versus demand. And a lot of people are thinking that we don't have a lot of inventory because things are going so fast. But with our supply, we actually have more listings than we did last year, about 14% more. And so right here, what I want you to pay attention to, this purple number, this is listings that are just sitting there. They're not under contract, they're not getting closed, they are just sitting there on the market. And so the number I want you to pay attention to is this blue area. These are the properties that are under contract or closed. And so this is what we want to pay attention to. So that's why that difference just looks a little bit weird. And then we've also had a value increase of about 26%. And that's what you can see here, not only in the listing price, but in the selling price as well. And so we've seen so many properties go over asking price, which is something I'm going to go over in a little bit. But I just wanted you to see what our supply is at. So we actually do have more. And what's that relationship is with demand. So our demand has gone up quite a bit. Our absorption rate, which is just the rate at which a property goes from active to closed, has dropped by 75%. So that means they're going 75% times faster than they were last year. As you can see right here, they're averaging about 8 days on the market compared to last year of about 40. And they're under contract for about 30 days or less. So that's why it just seems like there's not a lot of options, is because there's just such high demand that things are going off so quickly. And so with that, there's been a few key parts of the contract that have changed for a buyer. I do want to mention that this contract is very buyer friendly. It protects you the most, but there just are some things that have changed as far as an offer goes. And so the first thing being the purchase price. So the purchase price, a lot of people are going thousands and thousands of dollars over. You know, this is a vacation rental, this one right here over in Hurricane. It's in Zion Village, and this one was actually Holly's listing. We had, I think, maybe 6 or 7 offers, and the seller ended up choosing the one that was $51,000 over because they waived their appraisal. But they did have another offer that was $78,000 over. The reason why the seller didn't choose that is because the value just wouldn't be reflected for that buyer, and they didn't want to put them in jeopardy. And so that's one thing that you do need to consider too, is that sometimes a seller might just not accept it because it's way too over, and it's just not going to gain that value back. We hope that most sellers would have that attitude and protect buyers that way. Sometimes they just want to maximize their profit. So the next thing is the appraisal. And this is something that has changed drastically. We actually had a new form come out that what it does is it gaps the appraisal. So it just tells the seller, hey, if the appraisal comes in X amount lower, I'm willing to bring in X amount of money to share that. And so, sorry about this. This is being really weird, which I thought this video was very symbolic of, just because it shows what the experience is for buyers and sellers. A lot of buyers have been using appraisal as a tool to win negotiations by just throwing it out. They just waive that condition completely, which is something that sellers really love. Again, I thought that this was very symbolic of that. I just thought it was pretty funny too. But yeah, so that's something that people are doing a lot right now. And if you have a loan, it's something to consider to gap that appraisal if you do have the cash to bring that in. I know that appraisers are pushing down prices just to try to even out the market a little bit, because there is such a push with high prices. But that's just another thing to consider for you. Okay, so the next thing is home warranty. And so it's kind of ridiculous that this is something that could really make or break your offer. And I'm sorry if the sun is totally messing up my face right now, but it's getting a little bit earlier in the afternoon. And I'm trying to get back as much as I can so you can see my face. But so with home warranty, it's ridiculous that this could really make or break your offer right now, because typically it's about $500. It's really low cost, but it protects you in the long run. Typically you could ask this of a seller, no problem. But as of right now, even something as simple as a $500 home warranty can break your offer and make you lose that negotiation. So this is just something I'm recommending for buyers to just pay on their own, because it's really inexpensive. And again, it just protects you in the long run. The next thing being the closing costs. So again, with the home warranty, this is something that traditionally you could ask for if it's something that you couldn't afford, or if the price was good enough for that. But as of right now, you can't ask for them to cover your closing costs. You really need to make sure that you have those additional funds to bring to the table once closing is done. First Colony Mortgage is actually having a promotion till the 1st of April. So if you get an accepted contract on or by April 1st, they will actually make it a part of your offer that you can do $2,500 towards the seller's closing costs, which can just be a really great tool, another thing that they don't have to worry about, and it can actually put a little bit of edge on your offer. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the contingencies. And so let's say in the past, you had to sell a house to buy a house. So with that, you could list it and then possibly go under contract with another property while that one is, going through its own process. In this market right now, you can't do that. You either have to have it pending super close to closing, or it needs to be closed altogether for them to seriously consider your offer. Just because there's so many strong offers, especially cash offers, with people coming from California where their purchase prices are so much higher than ours, they can bring that cash down here to our lower market compared to California's. And so that's just something that you really need to make sure that you do. I really think it's just a mandatory thing. If you need to sell a property beforehand, I recommend you do it before looking at another property, just so that you have those funds ready and available. And I make it my mission to make sure that you get another property by your deadline if you are doing a 1031 exchange. So that is one of my goals, is to make sure that that money is protected for you and that you don't have to pay those taxes. So that's just something that I really want everyone to know. I hope this has been really informational for you. If you have any questions, or if you want to know how to win in this market, you can call, email, text me. I'm available 24/7 for you. Okay. If you need anything else, just let me know. Thanks.